What were your thoughts on what we saw from Texas? Kind of backed into a corner, in my
Yeah.
opinion, the week before when they went to the swamp and got physically the game handed to them. Really, I mean,
Hmm.
Florida just beat them up at the line of scrimmage, and going back into a rivalry game in a neutral site. I just felt like Texas, their whole season was basically on the line.
Yep.
All this talk about John Mateer, I was focused on Texas is going to take the field angry, really upset. And I think that played out throughout the football game. Their defense, that's the best they've looked all year, regardless of John Mateer and his thumb. I think it was more about Texas and their defense. I thought Trey Wisner, everyone's going to want to talk Arch. To me, it was really more about Trey Wisner and what he brought to that offense to just give them some life. Took a
Yes.
lot of the pressure off of Arch in that pass game. I thought Arch made a couple really big throws. I think as a unit, the collective, I thought Texas backed into a corner, second loss of the year after the Ohio State and then the Florida loss. I just felt like it's now or never for Texas. And man, did they show up, especially defensively. And like I said, Trey Wisner, I think they become a dangerous team. Just, in this world of you go that way or that way.
Hmm.
Texas, I feel like you look at their schedule, what they have left. If they play the way they did last week,
Yeah.
they'll be tough for anybody left on their schedule to beat them. But that was a desperate football team that took the field and outplayed Oklahoma. It was impressive.
It really was. And I mentioned this a little bit when I was running the show by myself there for about a couple minutes. So I talked about the week before when the rest. Remember, I gave you the trivia question. How many yards do you think the rest of the team had rushing? It was 15.
Yeah.
In this game, Wisner goes 94 yards. It changes the life of your quarterback. It changes the life of your play caller. If your quarterback isn't getting sacked 6 times like he did against Florida and getting pressured the rest of the time, it changes everything you can do in a game offensively. So they were able to run the ball some. Now, all of a sudden, as a play caller, if you can get you 5 yards on a first down, you got to get the 2nd and 5, you get the 3rd and 2. It's different for your quarterback. It's different for your play caller. They're a more physical team. And I said this in the show on College Football Final. As much coach speak as this sounds like, the things that coaches always tell you, if you can win the turnover battle, they turned over Mateer 3 times with 3 interceptions. If you can score on special teams, they did that with the punt return. If you can win the time of possession battle, they won that by like 6-7 minutes. If you can outrush the other team, the percentage, I don't have it in front of me, but you've seen these charts.
Yep.
It's like if you score on special teams, your percentage goes up. If you run the ball, percentage goes up. All
turnover margin. That's right off of Coop's 10-man.
Off.
The 10 Commandments.
Can
That's
you
right
bring those? Can you get Darren Brown to make us a chart of the 10 Commandments? But it's such coach speak, but it is so true. If you win those things, your percentage is like 90-something%. And that's what Texas did. And you mentioned, you look forward, they got Kentucky next. They go to Mississippi State next. We got a tough one in Vandy. Yep.
Let's not forget, before that game started, OU was number 1 in almost every defensive category. We were talking about Brent Venables it's one of those defenses, one of the best he's ever had.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't like Wisner started the game just going up and down the field. They had to earn that in the second half, lean on him. Arch it was an uphill battle to get that offense going. And then they kind of had a breakthrough moment. The special teams, the punt return was big, but it took 60 minutes to really, in that second half, get their running game going. If I'm Oklahoma, that's a disappointing loss.
Yeah.
Everything is in front of them. They're 5-1. They go to Columbia, go to South Carolina this week. I'm just going to say this, watching that game and calling that game, Oklahoma they haven't been able to run the ball all year. They still can't run the ball. They've got injuries to their offensive line. I think they're on their 3rd right tackle. They have issues up front.
Mm-hmm.
And they have the toughest stretch of games of anybody in the country. So while we all want to talk about Mateer and his thumb, he made 3 horrendous decisions, which he had
Horrendous.
not been doing all the week. The reason you and we had him on our show a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
We've been marveling at this guy and his leadership and his playmaking ability. He just threw a couple up there for interceptions.
Absolutely.
That
Terrible decision. He could have had 5 healthy thumbs.
Look at this
And
one.
those are still interceptions.
They're up 3-0 before the half.
Yes.
And all he has to do is kind of just throw it away. Instead,
yes.
Look, 5 seconds left. He just throws it up, and Malik Muhammad makes another interception.
That has nothing to do with his thumb, though. Like,
No.
I keep hearing people like, "Oh, he wasn't ready his thumb." Those are bad decisions.
Bad decisions.
They have
Yeah.
nothing to do. Your thumb could be no surgery at all. That's going to be an interception. And I mentioned before when we talked about them, we had him on. Their schedule, brutal.
It's I don't want to say impossible, but you knew that this was coming all year. Like South Carolina this week on the road, which they're in it. By the way, both those teams need to win a game.
Yes.
South Carolina's 3-3.
Another team.
And they're at home. They're a desperate team. Then after that, Ole Miss, at Tennessee, at Alabama, Missouri, and LSU.
Yes.
I mean, it's by far the toughest schedule.
That's what I was saying earlier. And people are like, you hate Oklahoma. No,
it's a schedule.
I love Oklahoma. I don't love their schedule. That's brutal.
Yeah. And if they don't get the offensive line and the running game figured out, you can't put everything on Mateer and just figure it out, dance around, scramble.
Run around, scramble, the jump pass. It's going to come back to get you.
And Jaden Ott, I mean, I know he's had some injuries, but man alive, him coming over from Cal was supposed to be a huge, as big, if not bigger, than Ben Arbuckle and John Mateer coming from Washington State was, wow, they got Jaden Ott from Cal. Wow, what a pickup. And again, I know he's been injured, but they've got to figure out their running game.